Good evening, welcome to JCC News. Max Molina speaking. This evening is full of interesting and tragic news. It is my duty to inform you that this afternoon a young man was disinherited by his grandfather. This happened because they, grandparent and his grandson, had different political ideas. The main reason this occurred was that Marius, the grandson, had been bearing the title Baron, given to him by his father, who his grandfather did not seem to like. For now, little Cosette was left with Thénardier to be raised, a big mistake made by Fantine, Cosette's mother. May she rest in peace. Our very own Smoochie, all the way over in France, has the details.
Indeed, Max. Sitting with me is little Cosette, who was raised by the Thénardiers. But if it weren't for Monsieur Madeleine, she would have died of hunger. Cosette, how do you do?
Very well, thank you.
How did the Thénardiers treat you?
Well, they made me get up at around 5 in the morning and the chores. These included sweeping, washing dishes, doing laundry.
So it was very harsh to live with this family?
Yes, it was very harsh. Besides, I always wore old rags.
Tell me, how did all of this begin?
All I know is that my mother left me there thinking that they would raise me to be a fine lady. Instead, Thénardier started scamming my mother. He was asking for more money every year to pay some man that he owed.
This is very sad. You heard her, folks. Left there by her mom. Ended up scammed and poor. Back to you, Max. Thank you, Smoochie. This is indeed very sad.
Here is some background information on Thénardier. War veteran, then he was a poor innkeeper in a town near Montfermeil. It is claimed that he ran to Paris with his family after closing his inn and hid with the name Jondrette, presumably to avoid paying taxes or having anything to do with his last name. This accusation is still under investigation.
This just in. Thénardier has been caught. He was captured near Paris while trying to escape after almost killing Monsieur Fauchelevent. Police Inspector Javert burst into Thénardier's room just when the villain was trying to escape with his partisans. Hopefully Cosette will be glad with this news. After the break, more on the disinheritance for Marius. Also, Monsieur Fauchelevent's last interview, the ex-iron worker and the factory owner that lost it all to the same man that saved Cosette, and how they ended up working at the same convent. Don't change the channel, we'll be right back. Welcome back to JCZ News. Max Molina with you. For those of you who joined us just now, Cosette was left with Thénardier by her mother. Thénardier was captured by Police Inspector Javert, and we were about to see Monsieur Fauchelevent's last interview before his death. This is it. I'm sitting with Monsieur Fauchelevent, gardener at the Petit Picpus convent in Paris. Monsieur Fauchelevent, how do you do?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you for asking. I was wondering, what was your job exactly before coming to Paris?
I own the steel factory in Amsterdam, where this Monsieur Madeleine guy shows up. He discovers an easier and cheaper way to work with steel, and my business starts to decline while he starts his own. By the time when I have no more money, he's the richest man in Amsterdam.
Did you like Monsieur Madeleine? I mean, were you fond of him?
Not really. I mean, who would? The man is making me poor.
But your feelings for him changed.
Yes, I started appreciating him more because he did something I never thought he was able to do.
What was that?
I was riding my carriage down the street when my horse goes berserk. The cart flies up, throws me to the ground, and falls on my chest. Madeleine appears and starts lifting the cart off of me. When the townsfolk finished the job, Only a few of my ribs were broken, but my knee had been crushed. That is why I limp.
So, he saved your life.
Yes, and he then found this job for me in Paris as the gardener for the Petit Picpus convent.
That was a very heroic thing to do. Back to the money you lost. How much time elapsed until you had lost most of your fortune?
Only a few months had passed.
Did you ever see him again?
As a matter of fact, I did. He appeared in the garden a few years later with a girl. I never knew how he got in because there was only one entrance, through the convent.
What was he doing there?
He needed a place to stay and was with a little girl. She was freezing and needed a fire. I talked with the convent sisters and they accepted him in the convent. He would work with me. It has been like this since.
How much time has passed?
I'm pretty sure it will be 9 years in a few weeks.
Thank you, Monsieur Fauchelevent.
My pleasure.
Interesting how you lose everything with someone and then work beside that person for 10 years. Monsieur Fauchelevent passed away 3 weeks after this interview. Rest in peace, Monsieur Fauchelevent. After the break, Marius loses his inheritance just because he is a baron. Don't go away. Welcome back. Marius was taking a bath at the pool when Monsieur Gillenormand enters Marius' room. He sees a charm on the bed and reads it. It's a letter from Georges Pontmercy to Marius, his son, who was raised by Monsieur Gillenormand, his grandson, so he could inherit something. Monsieur Gillenormand finds out that Marius was now a baron, and when he gets into his room, Monsieur Gillenormand and Marius have a little discussion. One thing led to another, and Marius leaves the house. I'm going to take some time to point out something I noticed right now. The story is just like the movie Mr. Deeds. Mr. Deeds inherits his great-uncle's fortune. His uncle's advisors, not willing to let anyone else get the money, plot against Mr. Deeds. His plan works, and Deeds loses the money. A few days later, he gets it back after a series of events leading to his uncle's advisor's arrest. In both stories, an inheritance is lost because of dumb actions or beliefs. Unluckily, we have run out of time tonight. We'll see you next time. Thanks for your time and staying with us. Good night.